Hi everybody, it's Beth here from Artbase, and today we're going to finish off our dolphin painting. So it's part 2 of our lovely sunsets painting. So last week, well in the last session we finished there, didn't we? So we painted our lovely sunset sky, and we blended lots of hot colours, didn't we? And we sponged with our blue and our pink and our purple. So in this class, we are going to add our water. So again, we're going to do some lovely blending and use our brush strokes to create ripples on the water. I'm also going to show you how to paint our lovely dolphin as well. So again, we'll do a little bit more colour blending on our dolphin. And then at the very end, we'll finish off with adding a nice silhouette of a palm tree. Okay, so the paints that we'll need, I'll just run through them very quickly with you. We're going to use a blue and a turquoise for our water. If you don't have a turquoise, you could just make either a different shade of blue, or if not, you can maybe make a lighter blue by adding a little bit of white. And then we will need a blue and a black and a white for our dolphin. And then we're adding a few little bits of light reflecting in the water with our yellow and pink. Okay, so and then obviously the palm tree will be with our black at the very end. So if you've got your paints ready, we'll get started. So I'll just zoom you in, just make sure you can see clearly and bring you in a little bit closer. There we go. So we'll start off with, let's do our water first of all. So remember how we painted our sky with our brushstrokes side to side? Well, we're going to do something very similar with our water. So to create those sort of ripples on the surface of the water. So instead of just painting it one shade of blue, that's a bit boring. So we're going to layer up our colours and our brush strokes. So I'm just doing some little straight lines working across the page, just adding a little bit of turquoise first of all. So working all the way across, and we're doing little lines and big lines, but the most important thing is that we're going side to side with our brush strokes. Okay, so just take your time and we'll build it up very gradually. So just popping those, that lightest colour. So if you don't have a turquoise, you can make a light blue and you can start off with that. And then I'm going to now go to my blue and I'm going to start adding some little bits of blue. So again, just working across the picture, and there's no right or wrong, really. The only thing that we want to do is make sure that we're going in the right direction with our brush strokes. So let's just keep building up and going across the page. And it will take a little bit of time, you don't need to rush it, and we'll just get our water painted. So the more shades of blue, the better it will look. But I think it works fine with just the 2 shades. But if you happen to have more shades, then you can add them in. Okay, so I've now added my blue in there as well. I'm going to add a little bit of white. So I haven't washed my brush. I've just dipped into the white, and I'm just going to blend a little bit of white in as well. And because my paint, my blue, is still a little bit wet, what's happening is I'm picking up a little bit of that wet blue with my brush, and it's blending in with the white, and we're getting another shade of blue and just some little white reflections as well. So we've got some light and some dark areas. So if you look at water, it's never one shade of colour, is it? So now we're adding all these lovely shades. Okay, So keep going, just ignore that little naughty dog barking in the background. Okay, so I've gone all the way across with my whites, and that's helped to blend in some of those blues as well. So you can see we've got lots and lots of lovely ripples all over. So once we've done that, we'll also add a little bit of light in the water. So I'm going to go to my yellow now. We've got the sun is setting in the sky, haven't we? So I'm going to get a little bit of yellow on my brush. And we're going to just do some little yellow lines coming down the middle, and a little bit of white as well. We can use a bit of white and a little bit of yellow. So this is the light reflecting in the water from the sun. So add a little bit of white. It might go a little bit green, but I think that's okay. It just looks okay. So a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow. Keep going across the page. Keep your brush strokes going side to side. Okay. All right. So once you've added a little bit of yellow in, just give your brush a little wash, or you can wash it and dry it, a little wipe, or you can wash it and dry it. And then I'm going to get the tiniest little bit of pink on my brush as well. We're just going to just streak a few little bits of pink in the water as well. So I'm just going to pop a few on one side and a few on the other side. So we've got a little bit of the colours of the sky reflecting in that water. I'm not obviously painting the water pink, but we're just adding some little touches of light and colour reflecting in our water. Okay. So remember, just tiny little bits on the tip of our brush. Never ever put too much in. And you can always go back with your blue. If you think, oh, I've gone and put a few too many in, you can go back to your blue and just work a little bit of blue over the top. And that also helps to blend it in a little bit, but that is optional. Okay. So that's our water done. So now we can start painting our dolphin. We've got all our backgrounds painted. So now we're going to do our dolphin. So our dolphin is darker on the top of his back, and then he's got sort of a very pale sort of tummy area. Okay, so we're going to start, well, let's start with our white, our lightest colour. So I've washed my brush, given it a little dry, and I've just got a bit of white on my brush to start with. So we're just going to, and I know you probably can't see because I'm painting white on white at the moment, I'm just going to paint a little bit of white paint just along the bottom of his tummy, just a little strip like that. Okay, and then I'm going to give my brush a little wipe off that white. Don't really need to wash it, and we're just going to add some blue now. So now I'm starting from the top of my dolphin, and I'm going really carefully. So when I paint, I often follow the line with follow that pencil line with my brush, and that way you don't go out of the line. So it's a little bit like when you're colouring in, I always go follow the line with your brush, and then you've got a nice neat edge. So, and ideally you want a slightly smaller brush if you've got one, but don't worry, if not, just remember not to press hard with your brush, just use the tip of your brush and not press hard. And we're going to just take our blue about halfway, or just below halfway. Just paint around your eye. Going to go all the way round. So nice and carefully. Okay. So you can see I'm following the curve as well. So no stripes or straight lines. We're following the curve and just working around our dolphin. Like that. So we've got a blue top half and a white bottom half. Now we need to blend that in a little bit because it's a bit harsh at the moment, isn't it? So the way we'll do this is we'll just dip back into our white. I haven't actually washed my brush. I've just dipped into my whites, and where the blue and the white meet, I'm now just painting a little bit of whites over that area there, and just keep. So it's helping to blend it in a little bit. So just where that blue and the white meets, pop a little bit of white on your brush and try and blend that area in. Now I'm picking up quite a lot of blue on my brush. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wash my brush, wash all that blue. And I'm just going to get a little bit of clean water on my brush, and then with a little bit of clean water, we're just going to just soften the edge and just help to blend that light blue into the white a little bit. So you can see it's softened that edge a little bit, and we haven't got a really harsh line. So you can, with a little bit of water, don't work it too much. If your paper gets a bit too wet, then sometimes it goes a bit bobbly. So don't overwork it. Or the other way is you can just go back into your white, add a little bit more white, and then work that white up into the blue. Okay, so hopefully you've got a nice blend from your whites, and then you've got a lighter blue, and then up into the darker blue. Now we want to make it a little bit darker at the top, so we're going to now go to our actually we won't go to a black, we'll make a dark blue. So the way we'll do this is we will just take a little bit of blue away, pop it somewhere on your palette, and then we'll start with one little dip of black and then mix it round and round on the spots. So don't paint your whole palette, don't spread that paint all over your palette, because you end up just wasting your paints and making your palette all messy as well. So just try it when you're mixing, try and just go round and round on the spots. So now I've got a darker blue. So I'll give my brush a little wipe, because when you're mixing paint, you often get lots and lots of paint in your brush. So we're going to very carefully, with our darker blue, just go around the edge of our dolphin. Okay. So just working around the edge, and then when you run out of paint on your brush and your brush is nice and dry, then you can dip into your blue, go back to your normal blue, and you can just blend that darker blue in with your other blue, just going back to that blue. So where the dark blue and the other blue meet, just use a little bit of that blue just to blend it in. Okay, so you can see, got a nice blend there. And then we'll carry on round, so we'll do a little bit more, that dark blue, just around the edge. So a little thin line around the edge with our dark blue. And then when your brush starts to dry off, and then we'll dip it back into our normal blue and use that normal blue just to help blend the dark blue in a little bit, so we haven't got a really harsh line. Okay, so it's a really good exercise in blending. So just blending with that, back with that normal blue, and then we'll take it all the way down to the bottom. Okay, and then if it's not brilliantly blended. You can just get a little bit of water on your brush like we did before, and just with a clean bit of water, just use that clean water just to help blend it in a little bit more. Okay, so hopefully now you've got really dark blue to medium blue to light blue to white. Okay, so really, you should be really good at blending now. So we'll just do the rest of our dolphins. So I've just gone back to my normal blue. We're going to just paint that tail in, so nice and slow and careful. Painting around, following that pencil line, not pressing hard with our brush, just using the point on your brush. And then we'll just paint that tail in. And we can just add a little bit. I haven't washed my brush, I've just dipped into my dark blue. And we can just streak a little bit of that dark blue through it, just so that we've got a different tone. So just a little bit of dark blue, just blend it in. And then we'll do this back fin. So this first one here. And again, just paint with your normal blue first of all. And then you don't need to wash your brush, just dip into your dark blue. Just blend a little bit of that dark blue in, so it's just a slightly darker shade of blue. And then back to your normal blue, we'll do this top fin. So again, you can see I'm following the pencil line with my brush to get a nice neat edge. And then just nice and carefully, little bits of paint at a time, and that's the key to colour blending, not too much paint on your brush. And then a little bit of dark blue, and I haven't washed my brush because I'm not using lots of paint on my brush, so I don't need to keep washing the paint off. So I've just blended a little bit of dark in there as well. Now I'm going to just give my brush a little wipe. I'm not washing it, it's just wiping off any excess paint. I'm going to dip into my white. I'm just going to paint this front fin with a little bit of white. But because I haven't washed my brush, I've still got a little bit of blue on my brush. So it's just picking up a little bit of a little tint of blue. And I might just blend the tiniest little bit of that dark blue in just to add a tint of blue. Okay. And then we need to put his eye in. So all we'll do, just the tiniest little bit of black on the tip of your brush. We're just really carefully just dabbing it in. And if you can, it will be very tricky. You could just leave a little white dot in your eye, but if not, you can always add that on with a little bit of paint afterwards. And then I'm going to give my brush a good wash. And we're just going to add a few little highlights, a little reflection of light just along the top. So a little line in white, so a little broken line just around the edge, like that, and a little bit down there. Okay, and if you hadn't, you can always use and add a little bit of white in your eye as well. And if you've got a pencil handy, you can always go back and work over the mouth with your pencil just to add that in if you've lost it a little bit. Okay, so there's your lovely dolphin painted. So we have nearly finished. So the last little thing that we need to do is our palm tree. And you might want to draw this on first in pencil. So I'll show you how we're going to do it. And then you might want to draw it on first in pencil, then go over with your black paints. But I'll do it in black paint so you can see. So we're going to keep it really simple. And all we do is a line that comes up from the corner and it curves up, just touching the sky. So you can see it's just touched the sky. And we'll try and make it a little bit thicker at the bottom and then thinner as it goes up. Okay, so that's the first step. And then you do a little line that curves out on both sides. And then we'll do another one, so it looks a bit like a spider. And then another one on the other side. And then we'll just do one more in the middle that curves up like that. So that's the basis of our palm tree. And then with a very small brush, or if you haven't got a brush, you can use a felt tip. Just with the tip of your brush, we're just going to do little lines coming off each branch. So try and do them as thin as you can. Don't press hard. Okay, we're just working round each branch and adding those palm leaves in. But if you haven't got a really thin brush, and this is tricky, then you can always draw it in with a felt tip pen. So just curve those down on both sides, all the way to get your lovely palm tree. Make sure it's all painted nicely. And you can also, if you're painting it, when it's dry, give your brush a little wash and then go back to your whites, and you can just add a few little white highlights along some of the branches, not all of them. Maybe just on one side of the light reflecting on that silhouette. And there you have it. Oh, actually, one last thing, nearly forgot, is, and again, this is optional, and you might want somebody to help you supervise you do this, but you can add a few little splashes. So a bit of water, a little bit of white paint or blue or both, and just holding your brush carefully, whoops, over your, nearly went then, didn't it? Carefully over your paper and just tapping it with one finger to add some little splats in your sea of your dolphin jumping out of the sea. And it's quite a nice little thing to finish with. So I'll show you the finished version with all the splats, and there you have it. A lovely, colourful dolphin at sunset.